Welcome to Mindset Matters, the show where we dive into all topics surrounding mindset, its importance, how it shapes our lives, the daily actions we take, and how it creates our future possibilities. Mindset Matters brings you stories and experiences from incredible people around the globe and provides the strategies to upgrade your mindset for success. Let's start designing your life from the inside out with your host, Rachel Withers.
Hi there, and welcome to another Mindset Matters. I'm Rachel Withers, and here at Mindset Matters, we are all about mindset, and we're all about the importance that it plays in every aspect of our lives. It's about really creating your own economy and designing your life from the inside out. And today, I have a very special guest joining me. I have Deborah Ruddy joining me. And Deborah is a registered Yoga Alliance instructor and is also a qualified Anti-Gravity Aerial Yoga Instructor who is absolutely passionate about finding the balance between mind, body, and spirit. She has created her brand, Lila Fitness, with the aim to bring balance to her clients and really their mind and their body and their spirit, so that they can really recharge their lives. And before entering the fitness industry, Deborah worked in the corporate world in both finance and in retail positions, and she is absolutely no stranger to high stress jobs and environments. Deborah is also really exciting, is also currently co-authoring a book with myself and with also other women, which is called Don't Wait in the Wings. And that is all about how important it is to really pursue your passion and not allow others or your circumstances to really hold you back. So what I'd like to do is I really would like to welcome Deborah. Thank you for joining us today. Hi, Deborah.
Thanks, Rachel, for having me.
Oh,
Hi,
my pleasure.
Rachel. How are you?
I am good. Really good to have you here. So, what would be really good is if you could start by telling us a little bit about your background and about how you first began practicing yoga.
Okay, so I suppose, as you mentioned, I came from a corporate world, and I had been through a couple of car crashes, and somebody had mentioned, oh, maybe yoga would be good for your back, and see how it would work out. So I wandered down to a local yoga studio in the city centre, trying to fit it in around 15-hour work days. And I hated it. I absolutely despised it. So if anybody had said to me, you'll be a yoga instructor in the future, I would have laughed at them at the time, because I really went into that 6-week course and thought, when will this be over? When can I be off this mat? What good is it doing me anyway? But it just goes to prove that you have to find the right instructor for you. And in that position, I just wasn't in the right class for me. I think it was an Ashtanga yoga. I didn't even know there was different types of yoga. Um, I I couldn't move from downward dog to upward dog. I didn't even know what she was talking about when I set in on that first class. And when somebody said this would be good for my back, I left that class going, I don't know what that person was talking about me. I think they were mad. But since that, I went out into different fields. I went into a retail environment, and I opened up my own business in retail. And I met a very different yoga instructor who said, you should just come down to a class and see how you feel. And I came down, and my mind was opened in a totally different way, that it actually transformed, is the only way I can say. And it broadened my horizon. So practicing the yoga at that point, it was still a struggle, because my back was really bad. My injuries were still kind of holding me back. I couldn't bend into a forward fold below my knees. So I had a lot of contention with my body. So it was about accepting my body's limitation. And then this same instructor introduced me to aerial yoga. And that's, I think, when the main transformation came for me. And that's what I qualified first in, which is kind of strange. Most people crawl before they can walk, and I decided to fly before I could do anything on the floor. So with anti-gravity aerial, you get that suspension with the hammock, and you allow your spine to decompress, so you get that really momentum into the body. So it's a really way of restoring the body, regaining flexibility, regaining strength. So I suppose that was my first field into rebuilding my body, if that makes
Gosh,
sense.
it does make sense. And starting flying before you can crawl, yeah, aerial yoga. It sounds, and I know it is. It's wonderful because it's enabling your body not to have the pressure, and it's really enabling it to feel that freedom and removing the tension. What made you really kind of push through and think about this actually as a career? What made you want to move into the fitness industry?
So I suppose for me, it was like when I got that feeling of sensation of restoring my body and knowing that, okay, I have limitations, and accepting the limitations, but be able to push your body a little bit further each time, and knowing that you can mend or restore or rebuild. It was like, well, could I do this for somebody else? And it was actually the very yoga instructor who taught me was the one who said, you could be an instructor. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. But she said, but you automatically do. You go to help, you help people in the class. So why wouldn't you be one? I was here. So for ages, I held in my little fear box and said, oh no, I don't think I'll step outside that. But I suppose I closed my business down, which was in the fashion industry. I had gone back into finance. I was here. Why wouldn't I take this opportunity to go into a path which was more Zen for starters, not all about stress, much more empowering for the mind, the body, and the spirit. So rebuilding that path, and then being able to gift that to other people. Why wouldn't you want to be in that industry and share that gift to the world? It's just phenomenal. I think it's a wonderful space to be in, to be able to share your knowledge and the strength that you have and the resilience that you can get from just something simple as a yoga practice. You don't have to be perfect. We're not insta yogas. We're not looking for that perfect pose. Just knowing that your body can restore and heal itself, and that you can heal through various elements, and wherever you want to bring your body to, or wherever you want to bring your mind to, is your limitations insofar as within its own limitations, if that makes sense. So I know that I'm not going to do a handstand on the floor because my shoulders won't allow it. But I know I can get in the hammock if I wanted, because I have the support of the hammock to bring me into a handstand, to allow my body to decompress and get that benefit of the inversion of the handstand without putting the pressure on my shoulders. So I know my limitations, but I'm not trying to find the perfection, if that makes sense. It's not about perfection, it's about acceptance. And I think
Ab-
that's a wonderful way to come into the world of accepting oneself, no matter
Absolutely.
what your limitations are.
I think so, absolutely. And I think from where you came from the high stress jobs, really not having that self care element. It's very much about finding not only restoring the body, but it's restoring your mental well-being as well, and self-care. And I do know that self-care is very, very important to you. And I just want to touch on really your brand, and I think I mispronounced it at the beginning. I think it's Lila and not Lila, and that is, I believe, is a Sanskrit word meaning
Okay.
divine play. Yeah. And can you sort of tell me a little bit more what, when we're talking about that restorative body, mind, and spirit, what kind of makes, what are you delivering to your clients? Where are you kind of, is the self care really in there as well with that, the mind and the spirit? Is that what you're delivering as well as the restorative part of helping the body?
Totally. So when you arrive into a class, it's about taking that time. So that might be your one only hour for you for that whole week, maybe, never mind the day. Um, so you arrive into the class, you don't want it to be like a regimental drill sergeant who only does downward dog, upper dog, whatever way. And that works for some people, but I feel for my clients, they want to come in, they want to have a social aspect in a class. They want to enjoy getting away from maybe the stresses of work, maybe the stresses of home. And that's not necessarily that their home is really stressful life, but maybe there's a lot of demands on them. Maybe there's a lot of them are mothers. They have children demanding, they have partners demanding on them, they have just life demands, as we all do. And that hour is for them. So when you arrive on the mat, that's probably the first thing we do is we center and we arrive and just let go of the day that's just been. Just allow yourself that space and freedom. And that's the first point of self-care when you arrive in a class with me. And then we have a little bit of fun as we flow. So sometimes when we're in a warrior stance and we might wobble, or a tree stance or we might wobble, it's to acknowledge that we are all human and that is possible. So for me, when I'm in a tree pose and I'm the first one to wobble, and I say, trees out of the wild, the wind blows them over. This is normal status. So it brings that little bit of levity into a classroom. And people then can get a little bit lighter in what they're doing. They're not having to take it so serious, but they're still working out. They're still feeling their body. They're still engaging with it. And each week when they come back, they find, oh, this pose is a little easier, or and they're developing and they're moving forward if that's what they want to do. For some people, they just want to come and lie on the mat for the hour. And if that's what they want to do, there's the permission to allow themselves to do that. So I think it's about giving yourself a little bit of permission to have this hour of self-care, this hour of time out. And if that's your only time, allow it to be a bit of fun. And that's what I mean by Lila Fitness. So I knew it wasn't always going to be yoga because, as you know, Rachel, I've developed into Bally Be Fit. So we knew it was going to be fitness based, and to develop out into a little bit more fitness and wellness coaching. So trying to build your business, you can't just make it one thing and keep it. I thought making it Lila Fitness. Fitness is more welcoming. Yoga makes it quite exclusive. And we don't want to make anything exclusive. We want everybody welcome. So once it works for you and you feel comfortable, that's what we're about.
Okay, and so let's kind of go into that a little bit more and really think about the types. If you could share with the listeners a little bit more about the types of classes that you are offering and really what you're wanting your clients to take away. We've talked about you allowing them to have that permission to just let the day kind of and be present in the moment. So it'd be really good to hear the different types of classes that you're offering within Lila Fitness, and also what you really are wanting your clients to take away from your classes and your
Sure. So we have little kind of, I suppose, themes that we do. And on a Monday, I offer a Monday meditation. And I love this because on a Monday, it's the start of the week. And sometimes we see Monday as the dredge day. So maybe at the end of a Monday's working day, you can just sit down and have a guided meditation and just allow yourself to release. And from that class, all I want you to take away is whatever you'd like. Maybe it's to dream bigger, maybe it's to visualize a calmer sensation in your body, or maybe it's just nothingness, just to stop. And that can be enough from a Monday meditation. We do early morning classes, so I'm up on the mat early morning teaching yoga, and that's for people who want to be invigorated and get ready for the day and really wake themselves up and kind of have that feeling of I've arrived, I've done my workout, I feel invigorated, but I have that sense of calmness and I'm ready to be a better person for this day. I also do what I call a wind down Wednesday, because the hump of the week is Wednesday, and sometimes you just need something to try and get yourself over it. So that's kind of a slow flow, or sometimes I might do restorative yoga on that day, or it's kind of varies from week to week. It's kind of whatever the mood is sensing. I might do chair yoga, I might do restorative, I might do yin, or I might do a mix and maybe even put a yoga nidra in there. So from that class, I think what I'm trying to do is wind down the day and get it ready for sleep. It's kind of late in the evening, it's about 8:30 in the evening. So we're just ready to wind down and get better sleep, because I think sleep can sometimes be neglected as an important part of self-care. Because if you're trying to re-nourish and rest your body, sleep is one of the most important things you can do for that. And then we do workshops, we do one-to-ones. As I said, I do aerial yoga and I do the Bali Be Fit, which is about that elongation, that strength, that stamina, that creating of power to rebuild the body, the mind, and give yourself a self-confidence again. Sometimes when we have that self-confidence, we stand a little taller, we elongate a little higher, and you just have a little bit more presence, not just for the world around you, but for yourself. So yeah, the restorative ones would be more from a basis of injury and replanning the body.
I mean, you offer so much, and obviously, I think your delivery in terms of your yoga is really from that mind, body, and spirit. And as well, you do Bali Be Fit, which clearly I adore, I love, and it's very much about doing exercise and really enjoying the music and really helping with the cognitive skills with Bali Be Fit. But tell me a little bit more why you believe the balance of that mind, body, and spirit is so important.
So for me, it's more about getting into yourself, I suppose, reflecting inward. Sometimes we might lack confidence, sometimes we might be just unaware of our inabilities, if I say, or maybe it's we're a little bit stuck in the world and we trying to find space to move on to the next stage. We feel a little bit lacking. That's where I certainly felt when I began on this journey. And now I think through resilience, through learning to accept what I have as the outer body, so the physical presence, and then looking inward, maybe a journey to the heart is something that I'd say, towards your inside, your self-belief, casting away those self-doubts to allow yourself the freedom to really believe, to allow yourself to dream a little bigger, to step out of your own way, maybe, or even just to clear the path. Because when you have a calm mind and an energetic body, the rest will show itself. So I think that's where it comes. Um, for me, that's what has happened. Once I allowed myself to be calm in body and mind, the other stuff started to show up just naturally. And maybe it wasn't naturally, it was just that I allowed myself to clear the crap out of the way, for want of a better word.
I think it is, because I think we live in a world with so many distractions, so much noise around us, that it's so difficult really to know who we are, and to listen to listen to our heart, to listen to our soul, to listen to our spirit, whatever you want to call that. And I think by doing and attending the classes, that the type of classes that you are delivering, it's really enabling your clients to shut out that noise, do a self-reflection, and really hear, and as you said, about clearing that path, so that you can dream big, you can understand your wants, your needs, and truly begin to really know who you are. And when you have that alignment, I think, with the mind, body, and spirit, that is when true calmness, true happiness really begins to come through. So let's just move on a little bit more. Tell me about now the book, Don't Wait in the Wings. You're writing a book with, you're co-authoring with myself and several other women. This book, Don't Wait in the Wings, which is really all about how we can tend to listen to the voices of other people who somehow know us better than ourselves. And I think that's why what you're offering in terms of allowing that self-reflection, it enables you to understand what you truly want. And I think the chapter that you have written is so it's incredibly powerful, and it's incredibly strong, and it's going to be super exciting when we launch this book. That it is so much about not staying on that sideline in life, not staying in the wings in life, but actually stepping out, being on centre stage, and being truly who you want to be. So could you sort of tell me a little bit more about the importance, what you believe in pursuing one's passions are, and really about not allowing other people's opinions or circumstances to really hold you back? And just be great to hear some of your personal experiences with this as well.
Sure. Yeah, I suppose sometimes, as an Irish person, we kind of say, oh no, I shouldn't shine. We're not supposed to be that person. We're supposed to stay in the doldrums. But do you know what? It's time to stop that self-doubt, self-talk, that talking down to ourselves. It's time to say, well, that's what I want. I want to go after it. Okay, we mightn't have the tools to get there, or we mightn't have the perfect path, but just find the methods. Ask people, ask for help. Um, I'll take you back to when I was working in finance. I really wanted to open my own business, and I'd never worked in the fashion industry before, but I knew I had an idea of what I wanted to bring to the Irish market. I knew it was a good idea. Maybe it was complete wrong time because I opened in the crash. Good old me. So timing probably wasn't perfect, but I took a risk and I opened my own fashion boutique. Something that I was very passionate about, something that I wanted to bring out into the world. So what? It didn't work. there's failure. If failure is the only thing that happens to you in life, you're going to be in line with the same people that are millionaires. The likes of Richard Branson has failed. So I can put myself in the same category as Richard Branson if that's what I want to do because I failed at a business. But I also can say I dreamed big. So I've also put myself in the same category as Richard Branson because he dreams big every day. Otherwise, he wouldn't be who he is. I think you have to stop and think and visualize what is it that you really want. Take the time to follow your dreams. Put a vision board in place. And I know people say, oh, vision board, really, what's that going to do for me? Well, if you see something in front of you every day, you're going to go, well, is that attainable? Well, it is if you take the steps to get it. So you mightn't have the knowledge right now to be an astronaut, for example, if that's your dream. But then just go back and study and find the tools to get to where you need to be. So it's just dream as big as you want to be, and then take the steps. They might be small, but find the path that you want to get there. When I opened my shop, I had no idea about business, insofar as I never worked in fashion when I was a teenager. All I knew is that I wanted to bring exclusive designs to an Irish market. I wanted something that was quality. I wanted something that was of a bit of a unique style, but still classic enough that you could take out of your wardrobe time and time again. And even since I've closed down my business and I meet people that have bought from me, after the fact, they said, God, I still miss your boutique. And I'm like, well, it's closed, it's gone, and it's done. But that doesn't mean it's gone forever, if that makes sense. Like, yes, that business is gone, but my new dream is here. So I'm taking my next steps towards my next dream. And that's my fitness business, and offering the same gift to my clients that I would have offered in my boutique. So now I'm offering them a unique package so that they can come in and enjoy their class, their time away from their busy lives. They can restore and build their bodies, build their mind and their spirit if they want to. The possibilities are endless. So it's about just stepping out of our own way and continuing on the path that you want to go on.
Absolutely. And I think it is so true when you talk about taking every step that you take takes you closer to your dream, to your goal. And I think vision boards are absolutely fantastic. I have my own. I even actually have a recording of myself speaking, and I play it in the car. I play it when I'm out walking, and it just helps me keep that motivation and understanding that every single step that I take takes me closer to where I want to be. So we've talked about the importance of really pursuing your passion and following your dream. Tell me a little bit more, Deborah, about, and give me a little brief synopsis of what your chapter is about in Don't Wait in the Wings.
So for me, it was just about resilience, and it was about finding that path towards taking the couple of steps that you can have towards resilience, to allowing you to keep going. I know I quoted somebody, my brain's gone. Oh yes, Linda Finnegan and Kristen Keeley in the book, and that was just to say yes to life. So it is about saying yes to your life. Your life is important. So what are you saying yes to? And it's just an important part of the resilient factor. Find the resilience within. We all are resilient. We just don't know how resilient we are until we're stuck in the mud. And I remember a quote a long time ago that somebody said, when you're in the mud, just keep going because there's nowhere else to go. You just have to keep trudging through it. So you've got to find the light at the end of the tunnel every time. So you'll find your resilience to get to the path you want to. And that was really, I suppose, a very quick synopsis about my chapter. For me, it was coming from the injury to where I am now. And funnily enough, when I was 17, leaving school, I kind of had ticked the box for leisure management or PE teacher. So I had kind of gone into that area of wanting to be in fitness and was talked out of it by my peers or my career guidance, because if somebody saw my um, little score testings, they would always say, oh, you're mathematically minded, accountancy would be better for you or whatever. And yes, while I am quite good at accounts and those kind of things, I'm also good at this. So realizing actually this was probably the path I should have taken all those years ago. But in the end, you get to the path anyhow, if that makes sense. You're always coming to the path you're destined for.
Absolutely. I can talk about my journey of, and I'll be really brief, but from dancing as a child to performing as a dancer to then leaving the dance world and thinking I'm going to have absolutely nothing to do with it again, and actually removing myself quite away from it, and then it found me. It kept when I listened to myself, it found me again, and then I set up a whole business, as you know, Ballet Be Fit, based on ballet. And so, like yourself, it was a journey that I ended up back on the path with the involvement in ballet. Obviously different. I was older. I could never get back on stage again, but it came back, and I think we are all given gifts and talents, and it's about recognizing and listening to yourself, and finding what those gifts and the talents are, because we're all born with one. We most certainly are. And I think it really is about, when we do calm the mind, the body, and the spirit, we can really get to understand what our gifts are, what our talents are, and what we can give to the world, what value we can give. And in return, we get fulfillment, we get enjoyment, and we get happiness through that. So it is so interesting, Deborah, for you to say that, as we've been talking about, listening to other people's opinions, other people's your circumstances, that can take you away from truly where you want to be. But you learnt life skills, in high pressure jobs that you have, that have prepared you for actually running a business. So it's a journey, and lessons you learn on that way have helped you have a more successful business in the fitness industry now. And I'm just going to go back, Deborah, because I have that quote that you wrote in your chapter, and it is beautiful, and it's by it's from a book called Say Yes to Life, and it's by Dr. Linda Finnegan and Christy Kennelly, and the quote is, at a certain time in our lives, we reach the depths of our own despair. During these emotional winters, our future can appear bleak, and our hope larder can seem terribly bare. But is it really bare? And this is where you're talking about that resilience. And I think it's about also having that, my interpretation is about having that gratitude for what you already have. Because I think we can so often think everything's going wrong, it's not working out. And for me, waking up every morning, I'm grateful for that. To be,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
true. And we so focus on what we don't have sometimes. And that's a human being trait, I think. Oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have the other. But actually, when we start to focus on what we do have, you realize how much you have. So when you say, oh, look, for me, I have sight, I have taste, I have hearing, I have smell. I have all my senses. I have the ability to move my body into yoga poses. I have the ability to sit still, to calm my mind. I have the ability to go outside and smell the freshly cut grass. I have the ability to stand in nature and feel the rain on my face. Those things are wonderful. To ground myself in the earth and just say, this is spacious. I live in the countryside. How lucky am I? I can see the beautiful change of the fall leaves, so the different colors in the leaves. And I can see the picture behind me is similar. It has that coloring change of fall, which I love to watch the leaves. I'm not so big into the damp, but but I love that nice crisp, winter's day that you see the different changing of the seasons. I have my family. I have the dog that wags its tail at me, so delighted to see me. All of these things that you can say, I am grateful for all of these things in my life. Because there are so many things that we can say, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have the other. Those are probably just material things. But when you actually really look inward and say, what do I have? And actually, if you really look, I have the ability to write, I have the ability to speak, I have the ability to be here with you today and have this conversation, and share it with other people. Isn't it lovely to say, I have the ability to share the gift of yoga with other people, with my students? Like, what a wonderful gift. And when you start having all of that gratitude, then you really begin to see your resilience. Your resilience to say, well, okay, I had a car crash. Nobody died. I'm okay. I can still walk. I can still talk. So start to think of that's where deep down into your resilience, and that's where that larder being bare, it's not bare. You have so much resources within yourself.
Let's talk about how we actually talk to ourselves, how we speak to
Oh,
ourselves, and why negative self talk can be so damaging. And if you could kind of share how you deal with negative self talk, if you could share some
sure.
of your tips.
For a long time, I used to talk, I'm too fast. I can't do this. I'm too thick. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I can't. I won't. I won't. I'm afraid. All of those things just hold you back. That's all those negative talk. So I started to change my mindset and say, well, if I was my best friend, so I became my best friend for a little while. And I said, if I was my best friend, how would I say that to my best friend? Would I actually say, you're too fat? You're too stupid? No, you'd never say those words to your best friend. You'd never ever say any of those derogatory things that you say to yourself. You would never tell your best friend those things, ever. You would always encourage, build, allow that self-belief into best friend. You encourage, encourage, encourage. So why would you say to yourself those absolutely awful derogatory things when you wouldn't say them to anybody else? Never mind your best friend, but to anybody else. You would never say to anybody else, to their face, any of those things. So start looking in the mirror a little more and don't say, it's not about being bravado or saying you're wonderful or being arrogant in anything. It's about allowing yourself to be the best possible self. That doesn't mean you have to be an arrogant person. It means that you just have to self-love. And for self-love, if you don't self-love, how can you love anybody else? That's for me, that's the easiest way to put it.
And I really like that talk to yourself as your best friend. I think that that's a wonderful tip to do, because we can so often, as you were saying, just, I don't know how many negative self-talks that you can say to yourself in a day. You can say, oh, so many. And just stepping back and noticing how often that you say something negative about yourself, just changing it with a positive affirmation, can really help. And then again, I think talking to yourself as your best friend, I think that's an absolutely wonderful tip for the listeners. So let's just talk about self-care, because people really don't put enough emphasis on this. They can actually really think it's quite selfish to take that time out for self-care. And I believe, and I know that you do, it's absolutely critical for your overall well-being and mindset. And given your background that we've had with your car crashes and injuries, can you really just share the importance of really listening to your body and knowing your mind, and really knowing when to give yourself a break?
Sure. I suppose for me, it's about knowing the body first and foremost. So, like when I had my car crashes, I knew I could only do so much. And then I had to limit myself and allow myself to say, okay, that's all I can do today. And not then berate myself and say, well, God, is that all you could do? Can you not do more? So this is the same when we start a business, or when we're doing a class, or when we're doing anything that we want to do. You begin slowly, begin to let go of the ego. So that's one of the first things I kind of say on the mat when people arrive in. Don't look at anybody else's mat. Stop comparing. You've got to look at your own self. Um, Learn to rest when you can, when you have the time. So it's kind of the advice new mothers get: sleep when the baby's sleeping. Don't try and do everything, because you're just going to burn out. You've kind of got to find that space where you can just give yourself a little bit of time. Much like the self-talk, you've got to be the same as you would say to your best friend if you would see them exhausting themselves out. Why would you do that to yourself? So stop. Give yourself time to go and get a massage, get your hair done, get your nails done. We all can find time to do those little things. So then why would you not find the time to eat well, get some rest, get some exercise for yourself? These are very important parts to keeping the body healthy, to allow the whole balance of your body, mind, and spirit to be well, which keeps you going. We only have this one body on this earth. So just allow it to be loved and give it some flavor. And if that flavor is ballet, give it ballet. If it's yoga, yoga. If you want to do a hit, off you pop. You're on your own there.
I
but
knew.
but but do you know what I mean? It's about giving it some love and giving it time, but also letting go of the ego. Because I think sometimes we sort of say, oh, we should be. But rather than that, I choose to be.
Well, thank you absolutely for thank you so much for joining us today, Deborah. And if you could just let the viewers, the listeners, know where they can really find out more about Lila Fitness and how they can get in touch with you and join your amazing classes.
Great stuff. You can follow me on Instagram at Lila Fitness IRE, or you actually find all my socials on the website. It's probably the easiest. So lilafitnessire.com. That's the easiest way, and you'll find them all there. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. Yeah, they're all there. It's
Well,
the easiest way to find me.
thank you ever so much. And thank you to the viewers. Thank you to the listeners for joining us today. And I really hope it has helped you to really see things differently. And just remember that self-care, look within, design your life from the inside out. And really, you are capable of absolutely anything. So all that's stopping you is your mindset. So we'll be back next month for another mindset topic, and I do hope you can join me then. Thank you, and thanks for listening to Mindset Matters.
Thanks for tuning in to Mindset Matters. Be sure to visit rachelwithershq.co.uk to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic bonus content. Join us next time for more tips and techniques to achieve the rewards that you deserve. Bye for now.